I'm going to have two videos on how to multiply polynomials. This was our first one. In our first example, we have a monomial out front that's being multiplied by this trinomial, three terms inside. So anytime you have just that one term out front, we're just going to distribute inside our parentheses. So we're going to take the 3xy and multiply it by your first term, xy. What you're going to do is you are going to multiply your coefficient. So this 3 would get multiplied by, we can think of it as there being a 1 in there. So 3 times 1 is just 3. So we know that will be a 3. Oops. A 3. And then we're going to multiply like bases. So the x gets multiplied with the x. When you're multiplying the same base, you will add your exponent. So that will become an x squared. And then the y gets multiplied with the y, and we will add those exponents and get y squared. So our first term is 3x squared y squared. Now we'll distribute to our second term. Again, multiply your coefficients out front first. See if I can get, there we go. We'll take the 3 times the 7, it's a positive 21, so I'll go ahead and write plus 21. And now multiply your like bases. Again, your x times your x is x squared. And y times y is y squared. Alright, now we're going to take our 3xy and multiply it by our last term. Multiply your coefficients out front first. The 3 times, we want to make sure we catch that is a negative 5x. So 3 times a negative 5 is negative 15, so I'm going to write minus 15. And then you multiply like bases. So the x gets multiplied with the x, and we get x squared. And the y, well, because there's nothing to multiply the y with, it will just actually stay as a y. And that will give us our answer on the first one. So when you're multiplying polynomials, just remember you add your exponents when you're multiplying the same variable. Alright, this next example we have a binomial times a binomial. This is where we can use our FOIL method. When we FOIL, we multiply the first terms of each binomial. So x times x gives us x squared. Then you multiply the outside terms. This x will get multiplied by that negative 5, and we get a negative 5x. Now the I, you multiply the inside terms. 7 times x is 7x. And then the L stands for the last terms. We'll take the 7 times the negative 5, and we'll get a negative 35. You guys will FOIL a lot in math. Really it just comes down to a pattern. What we're actually doing is we're taking our first term, we're distributing it to both terms in our second polynomial, and then you move on to your second term and it gets distributed to both terms. Someone somewhere along the way came up with a catchy little FOIL phrase we can use, but it's just like what we did above where we were distributing. Alright, from there you just want to see if you have any like terms. More often than not, it will be those middle two terms that you can combine. So our final answer, the x squared, will stay the same. And then you have a negative 5x plus 7x is positive 2x, and then minus 35. And that one's done. Alright, this last example, what's really, really tempting is to take the squared on the outside and bring it in to everything on the inside. We did that a lot with our exponent properties. The reason why we cannot do that is because of this subtracting inside. If you have any addition or subtraction inside your parentheses, we can't just bring exponents in. So what we're going to do is we're going to remember what it means to actually square something. If you are squaring something, that means you're multiplying something, 2x minus 3, by itself. So here's times another 2x minus 3. And what we're doing is we're just setting this up for us to FOIL this. It's a binomial times a binomial. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times a negative 3 is a negative 6x. Here's a negative 3 times 2x, so it's another negative 6x. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And then again, look to see if you have any like terms. So those middle two terms will combine. The 4x squared stays the same. Negative 6x minus 6x is minus 12x, and then plus 9.